Hey guys, and welcome to another dev video for this week. I been really busy working on adding multiplayer to AVK. Like I mentioned last time, it's a little bit harder than I thought, and a lot of things just don't replicate properly, and I've had to go back and try to figure things out. So there's really nothing about ABK that I want to show today because they're releasing anything new, just replication issues. I've also been working on a bug in the arcade space shooter template that some of the customers have found. Most people haven't seen this issue, but just literally two people have emailed me where in 419 there is an error with the template and it just crashes. So I've been looking into it and trying very hard to try to replicate it on my end. So I'm gonna have to spend some more time this upcoming week trying to figure this out because again, this is actually out there and people are paying money for this. So that is really my number one priority to see if I can figure that out. So fingers crossed I can get that fixed up and we can get back to working on the rest of the stuff. In the meantime, I've also been working on this little road tool that I showcased last time. Last time I recorded really late at night, so I couldn't even speak. But I wanted to give you kind of a quick overview and get your feedback on this. I know that there's two different road tools out there. There's a free road tool that somebody posted very generously on the community forum, and Epic Games has a little track generator. So this whole thing came as part of my little experiment creating a traffic system, and for me to showcase the AI going from street to street and stopping on a stop sign and things like that. I wanted to create different roads, and I couldn't find a good solution actually. The free tool is really nice but doesn't have textures because the author couldn't include the textures, I guess. And Epic's track generator is really nice, but not really a regular street, like a city street. It's more like a track for racing. So I actually took an idea from both, but I started mostly with the Epic track generator, and I just kind of looked at how they did things and kind of put my own twist to it. So what you're seeing here is actually just two roads. You can see I'm selecting one here, another section there, and then this other section. So actually three roads connected. And you can see here, just looking at this, if I select the road, there's a bunch of different options, very similar to the way Epic did it. I have a really big struct that has things like what is the pavement mesh, the material, whether you want to show the sidewalk, the left sidewalk or not, right sidewalk, and the left and right rail. That's something I added. Then you can select the materials for those things, and then you can add even offsets. And then you can select the width of the segment and the thickness. So if I were to, let me just grab a brand new blueprint here, and I just drop it in here. It's again spline based, as you can imagine. Oops, let me just bring it up a little bit more, and I can just duplicate my spline points. As you can see right now, it's set to automatically add support. So I'm using a very simple line trace, and if I am taller than a specific amount, in this case 300 units, it'll automatically add a support on every spline point. So you can see I can move this here. Very similar to what I used to have on the arcade space shooter template. This is obviously a more advanced version of that, and you can see they automatically adjust to the terrain. You have options per segment. So if you see here, the different numbers here to show and hide different things. So right now the default I have is to show this mesh here, which is like the sidewalk. So if I go here to the road properties and select, let's say number 1, this section here between 1 and 2, and say I don't want to show the left sidewalk, and I take it out, you can see that automatically takes the sidewalk away from here. And I can do the same thing for the right hand side here. So if I wanted to have a chunk without the sidewalk, I can do that as well. So that's new, obviously. I'm trying to make it modular. So I'm calling this like a modular road tool. So it's actually not that difficult, but I had to model the meshes in a way that it was able to do this properly. I can go to number 2, for example, and do the same thing. And, I can remove certain things or I can add them. Let's go back. I also have the ability to add a rail. So let's look at number 4 here. So if I wanted to add a left rail, show left rail, you can see that automatically adds it here. I can have a right rail as well. And if I wanted to change the defaults, I can come back here and say, okay, from now on the defaults are I want both rails to appear. Not this segment, but the next will start with the default. You can see that the defaults are now applied. Okay. There's a couple of other options. If you wanted to reset, so let's say that you say, dang, I actually want this road to have no sidewalks at all and no rails at all. If you already made your road really, really nicely, you would have to then go to every single spline point here and change it, which is really painful. So what I did is I had a way of changing the default. So say you don't want the sidewalks here and you don't want the rails. So now the new default is this. And then I have this little boolean that says reset defaults, and you switch it on and off and it'll automatically regenerate the entire road with your brand new defaults, which means it's just a road mesh here, no sidewalk and no rails. So I thought that's pretty neat. So let me just go back and now make this have the rails as well. I can come back here and reset defaults, and now the entire road, as you can see, now has the sidewalk and it has the rails. And obviously there's proper collision on all of them, and you can see that it just follows the spline. There's also the cool thing is that there's a option per segment, obviously, to add and hide the rails and the meshes here. But you can also change the actual mesh of the road. So right now I don't have any examples. I just have this one mesh. But say that you had different meshes. Maybe one mesh has a little variation, maybe like some cracks on the road, or another mesh is thicker or thinner or wider. Say instead of a 2-lane road, it's a 4-lane road. You can change the mesh or the material per segment to fit your needs. And I think I showed this last time, but if I go to materials, actually I'm gonna go right here. The base standard material, which is the one I'm using here, I'm really happy with this. I made the material in a way that you can actually change the appearance of the line. So you can change the color of the road, make it really dark or really light. Or you can make it, purple, blue, whatever, right? You can literally make the road any color you want. Say you're making a futuristic game. You can change the road texture here, which I just have one at the moment. You can change the UV scaling. So you can see it looks really rough. And the texture is only 1K. I can make it whatever I want, but I figured 1K is good enough for now. You can change the line colors, which is really neat. So let's say that the center line, you want to change it from white to yellow. You can see that it automatically changes. See that? Let's say that you want the left line to be, I don't know, red. You certainly can do that. I'm gonna click cancel there. You also have visibility, so you can change the opacity of certain lines. So let's say that you don't want the center line to be seen at all, so you can make that as 0, and your road now has no center line. Or you can say I don't want the left line at all, and you can just have the middle one and just one line. It really depends on exactly what you want. And as I'm driving around here, my house, I noticed that these patterns differ based on the type of road. So having the option of having it in the material is really nice, because usually what the other solutions have is they have a separate mesh and a separate texture. This only has one texture and you have the ability to modify it here. And obviously what I've done is then this is a material instance, then you can create several different material instances. Like in this case, this is the standard road. I created one that says road base 3 no lines, and it's just an instance without any lines. So then I can come back to the road here and say, okay, well, in segment number 3, I want to change from standard to no lines. And you can see here that the material automatically changed here in this section. So you can create as many material instances as you want from the same material, and then have different sections of the road have different color lines, different line patterns, etc. So really neat. Yeah. There's also obviously a lot of the utility stuff that you see on the other tool. You want to add or remove support automatically, just add support by default. You can change the minimum distance here, and you can do things like you can align the road to the floor, or you can align the terrain to the floor. So in this case, if I were to align this road to the floor, there's an option saying, do you want to flatten all the points, or if this is false, you will only flatten the points that have no support. So in this case, I want to align to the floor, and you can see that the spline only lowered the points that had no support. And then I can go up here and click on update road, and you can see that automatically the road goes down and aligns to the floor. The other option is having the landscape automatically adjust. This is really cool. So here you can select the landscape, and then you can say, there's a bunch of options here. You can raise or lower the height. This is the width and the fall off. And basically what this does is it creates a landscape spline and changes the landscape to align with the road. So you can see here. So if I just I go like this, and I align the landscape, you can see now that it created this little mound here, and it carved the road around the mountain, which is really nice. I know a couple of the tools out there do this, including one that is a paid tool, and I thought it was going to be really complicated, but it really is quite simple. So you can align the road to the floor, or you can align the landscape to the road and raise it. You can also attach, so if I want to come back and grab another section of the road, I can attach this road to the end of another road. So let's say that I pick this road here, and I want to attach this road to, attach this road to the point, and I want to attach it to the point number 14. And you can see that I immediately attached it right here, and then I can continue, and this is a completely separate road. I can attach it to pretty much any spline point. So if you wanted to make like a T, you can just attach it and start the road in a completely different point. In this case, I just wanted to do it at the end. You can also do attach the end point of a spline to another point, right? So attach end to the point is basically the same thing. This moves the actor, the other one moves a spline point to another spline point. So let me just show you what I mean here. All right. Sorry, let me just do it like this. And let's say that I wanted my last point to attach to spline point number 2. I can enter it here, and I say attach end to point. And you can see that automatically the last spline point attached to this road. Now I just have to come back here and update the road. And you can see that it was automatically attached. And now, of course, I have to kind of rotate the spline. Maybe put it a little bit higher here, so there is no there you go. Have to kind of adjust it a little bit, but obviously if you do it carefully, you can actually create your own little road network. I'm gonna delete delete this piece here and this piece here. You can actually clone a road as well or spawn an end mesh. This is working right now. I don't have a very nice mesh to spawn at the end, so I'm not going to show you that. But you can clone a road. Say that you wanted to have the exact same road. So you can come back here and let's see here. I'm gonna do this. Doesn't really matter what kind of road you have. Say that you wanted to clone this road. So you select this road here. Say okay, clone road. And if I just lift it, whoops, you'll see that I just cloned the exact same road. So say that you wanted to make several different lanes that are exactly the same. You can just create one road and then just clone the road again. And then of course I can just move it out. You can see here, and obviously the supports are changing based on the landscape. Okay, what else that I want to show? You can see here that there are some markings, and I was trying again to figure out what is the best way if I wanted to create some traffic markings. Like you've seen on the roads, you have the little arrows here or the arrows forward, or whenever you're supposed to stop, you have like the little rectangles here. And what I did is I created some decals, and I have like a little actor, and I just call this apply decals, and I just can drag the actor here. I'm gonna change it to this. And what I do is I add a decal per spline point, and I can add, let's say, let's just add arrow right, for example, and I can just add the decal, and I can rotate the decals here to match the road, as you can see here. So instead of having to add the decals by hand, you can just have this little actor here. Oops, there you go. And you can immediately add all of the road markings. And that's how I'm doing the markings here. So again, I am trying to keep things as modular as possible. Instead of having different textures for different things, right, or different meshes, I'm trying to make this as modular as possible. And again, this is probably taking it a little bit farther than my original plan. I just wanted to make a tool so I could create roads for my traffic system, and if I ever release it, I'll include a way of creating the roads automatically. But this is turning into something really neat, and I may just release a free version if people are interested. It's probably redundant, but I just wanted to get your opinion. What do you guys think? Do you like my approach? Instead of having different meshes and materials and textures, it's all kind of modular, and you can just add the decals that you want. Or do you think there's a problem with this? I know it's less efficient, right, to have all the modular pieces here. Let me know what you think, guys. Really interesting to hear your opinion on this. Is this something that you'll be interested in as a separate tool? Should I take this farther? You know, making connections. I thought I could, if I really want to take it farther, I could make like roundabouts and T junctions and Y junctions, right? And the four lane junctions. And there's a bunch of things that you can do, obviously, to make it really complete, including fixing issues. For example, you can see that the different lighting here. And this is probably because my light map UVs are really messed up. I haven't had time to fix them, and I'm actually learning as well. So don't worry, I am seeing that there is a difference in this lane and in this lane. I'm almost sure it's the light maps, and I need to just get some time to fix those as well. But just wanted to give you a quick taste of kind of what I have here. What do you think? Is this something that you guys are interested in? Should I release this as a free tool? Should I take it further and have it as a separate road tool, which it would include a lot more textures and meshes and decals here, and then you can just create anything you want. Yeah, let me know what you think, and I will talk to you in the next video. Thanks a lot.